Welcome to the session number 3. We are going to talk about national experiences. I would like to welcome Mr. Charalampos Dalakas, who will talk us about the peer mediation application to a primary school and what a very interesting initiative they have in Ioannina.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you will excuse my rusty English. It is the first time I dare to deliver a paper in English. However, I understand that every long road starts with a first step. And here we are. Our paper is put in the wider context of the characteristics of our epoch. Firstly, our education has the task of preparing young generation for a type of society which does not yet exist. And secondly, the content of school learning becomes outdated in relation to the needs of society. So we present the application and evaluation of peer mediation in the context of restorative justice. We are the only school in primary education in Greece which implements peer mediation in cooperation with the Department of Preschool Education of University of Ioannina and Assistant Professor Mr. Theodoros Thanos. There are also few schools in secondary education that implement the program. The stages of the peer mediation program. Informing school society about the program of peer mediation. Investigating school climate. Selection and training pupils in peer mediation. Information and application of the program and evaluation of the program. The school climate. We are a happy school, but this hides many forms of violence. The relationships of trust. Pupils. Relationships of trust. Pupils have the opinion that teachers don't entrust them. Forms of violence. We see that the forms of violence is mocking and verbal threats. The same as victims and offenders. As we are going from observers to offenders, the percentage of violence that was referred was lower. This means that few pupils use violence to more pupils, which is observed by more and more pupils. Offenders and forms of violence. Have you talked with bad words to another pupils? Have you mocked? Have you threatened? We see that we have verbal violence and physical violence. Place of violence. We see that the forms of violence is in the yard of school, and in front of the teacher, near teachers, there are forms of violence. The time of violence during the interval. Reference of the fact is to the teacher, to the director, to parents, to nobody, not to another pupil. Reference of the victims, to the teacher, to parents, and to another pupil, we see, and to another pupil. Reference of the fact, offenders, nobody. Feelings of observers, sadness, anger, injustice. Feelings of victims, anger, sadness, injustice. The feeling of offenders, anger and sadness. And three categories, sadness. Do you prefer to solve by a peaceful way your differences with your pupils? Yes. Who would you like to be mediators? And we see that they want pupils to be mediators. Not parents, no director, no teachers. The training program in mediation. Select of mediators with models, cadre approach, classroom model, and elective course. Intimacy with the vocabulary, meanings, forms of violence, and ways of confronting violence. Recognition feelings, empathy, communication abilities, playing roles in mediation. The mediations. We see that male and same sex. The forms of violence, physical violence and verbal threats. Feelings of demanders, the pupils who put the demand to the box. Sorrow, anger, sadness. Feelings of the pupils who held in mediation, sorrow and anger. Propose solutions. To be friends, to avoid quarreling, to forgive, to give hands. Final solution. To avoid quarreling, to give, and to be friends. Evaluation by the pupils who did mediation. In mediation participated 21 pupils. Did you find a solution to the problem? Yes, and many times. Have you felt better after the mediation? Enough and more. Have you improved the relationship with the people who quarreled with after the mediation? Enough and more. Did you like the mediation as a way of solutions of differences and quarrels? Yes. Have you suggested to some other pupils to be involved in mediation? We see that they have no the intimacy, the peer mediation is the first year in our school. Every year, if there is a year, all the people be involved. They could propose to other pupils to do mediations. Have you quarreled after the mediation? No. Were you thinking that the other pupils may fight after the mediation? Many times and frequently. Now, after the mediation. Were you trying to avoid quarreling with the other pupils after the mediation? Many times and frequently. After the mediation, when you quarrel, do you try to find a solution? Many times and frequently. Would you like the mediation program to continue next year? All of them, yes. Evaluation of the training of pupils mediation. Training of pupils, October to February school year 2012-2013. Was the training program in the role of mediator interesting? Many times and frequently. Was the process of mediation interesting? Frequently. The training program met your expectations? Many times and frequently. Did you find difficulties during the mediation? They found difficulties few times. As a mediator, were you neutral? Many times and frequently. As a mediator, did other pupils entrusted you? Frequently and many times. Were you hearing with interest what other pupils were saying? Frequently and many times. Were you with the other pupils in mediation? Have you felt that pupils in mediation did not tell all the facts that had happened? The mediators did not entrust the pupils in mediations. Was the mediation you have done successful? Frequently, and many times. In this context, we need a school where all the children learn. This requires a transformation of school so that the learning environment encourages children to learn and succeed rather than to learn for avoiding punishment or failure. Children's responses to a dissatisfying school environment takes forms such as antisocial behavior, causing problems in the school environment, an apparent conformity to school rules which lacks enthusiasm for learning. Some teachers tend to conceive conformity as a virtue, probably because this makes their life more convenient. And a constructive response. Pupils demand improvement of the conditions that dissatisfy them. Thank you.